I was at the livestock show a lot in the spring one time. Running around one Right. Yeah. Oh, really? Okay.
What's in your necklace thing?
Today.
Yes, you should too.
Right.
Huh? Oh, there's Teresa. Okay. Hi. Nice to meet you. Oh.
Smile. It's the best part of your day.
Seeing you.
Are you Commissioner Carter?
Kidding me? That's the worst one. What's the
Don't know.
FloorJason.com. I've eaten items that I already negotiated that year. It's encouraged them to work like paper. Yeah. More crazy.
All right, that all sounds like the appropriate mark to open the Columbia County Commissioners Court. Call it to order this Tuesday, September 26, 2023. And before I ask Ms. Wall to call the roll, I'll give you all a little heads up in the morning. Commissioner Riley has noticed that other courts and other bodies pledge allegiance to the Texas flag as well as the United States flag. And so we're going to implement that practice here starting today. There were some little slips of paper with the pledge in case anyone doesn't know it by heart. So be prepared, that's coming. Ms. Wallace will call the roll.
Sure. Judge Brady?
Here.
Commissioner Weir?
Here.
Commissioner Eaker?
Here.
Commissioner Eastman?
Here.
Commissioner Riley?
Here. Please join us in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honorable Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Please remain standing for the invocation. Father in heaven, we give you thanks. Thanks for the moisture you have brought this land. I know you'll be bringing more. We need more. Father in heaven, we commit this meeting to you. Come and reveal your will in every aspect of our life and ministry. And as we discuss the affairs of this county, we ask for your will to be done. Show us your purposes, enlighten us that we may know how you want us to accomplish our task. We desire your glory and blessings, all that we do. Direct our thoughts, words, decisions, and actions toward the right path and help us to stay on track. Let your will be done as we plan to make these decisions. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Yeah, I thought, given the late day and the month, we might add a prayer to make sure you get that payment that before you come on.
Chrissy, at least we and I are trying.
All right, I don't want to get into your consideration of the minutes prior to meeting.
I make a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes and to approve the minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Riley, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 2, line item transfers, of which there are a couple for your application.
Judge, can I ask you a question? There was also a special mentioned that.
I'm sorry, I thought we were catching both at the same time, so let's go back.
We are.
Well, just for clarity's sake, why don't you go ahead and make a motion on that as well?
But also like to dispense with the reading of the minutes for the special meeting on August.
Is there a second? Commissioner Easter, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now on item 3, line item transfers for ratification.
I'll make a motion, we accept the line item transfers as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Riley, discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, outstanding bills.
I make a motion, we have in addition to, we need to add to the bills, I make a motion to pay the outstanding bills in amount of $266,126.39 and include the frontier for the sheriff's office of $1,114.66.
Is there a second? Commissioner Easter, discussion. Frontier is the
Telephone.
telephone. It's not our telephone here.
Ours we got ours.
Okay, I just didn't realize they were called Frontier this week. Seems like it's something different every year. Frontier. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Item 4, light spectacular, is, Bible has a, and, gosh, I'd like to discuss it.
Yes, so I've already come to you and requested your consideration for this action item already, but it has high importance to me, and we, both Bart and I went back to the drawing board and came up with a new vision of how we could possibly park these RVs in a different location. And that's what we're coming with you today. I'm going to go ahead and let Bart just get that description of what we're going to do, where we propose to put these RVs.
So in this case, rather than finding the park RVs behind the index, we basically do, we get to the same, we do market day showing spectacular. We basically block off cypress between Nugent and FMG, allow them to park in that area, keep traffic control in place, give them a place to gather for how they should do for the KC units.
And let's back up here, you don't want to block off what?
Block off cypress between Nugent and FMG. Basically the same thing we do for lifestyle units.
While they're digesting that, if I could go off on a tangent and just ask, the appearance to me, like what I seem to be, is a little, this past Saturday, maybe Sunday, was a little more active than it was the previous one. Is that your?
Yeah, so as far as marketing goes, yes, we're growing each month now. And basically after rebooting the event starting in March, we've been going to the market, got a good response. We've basically referral program for the vendors, and then meetings with the visitors coming through the town. So it's been a successful program.
It's approved.
It's approved, yes.
It's obviously a little bit, maybe it's just it's a lot, but it's a little bit slow.
We were surprised that people were even showing up. Some things, no one was expecting Sunday to be another 101-degree day. But the vendors themselves were overall happy with this month, given the heat, and they're planning on return, which is usually a pretty good sign.
So, let me frame it that you correctly. Last time we talked about this, there was a sentiment, I thought I was really kind of an outlier, but it seemed like most of the court felt like they didn't want to turn the back parking lot behind the annex into an RV park temporarily. And so now you sort of reconfigured, you thought about it and thinking about allowing them to park in the front area, right?
Right, so this is not really being considered an RV park or a camping situation, right? This is going to be a sponsored spectacular event. And for basically a cook-off for Casey, they pretty much said how their operation runs is there people show up in their RVs with their tents up and cook. That's just how they normally operate. So we're asking for this to be handled as a special event, not setting a precedent for basically an ongoing camping or parking of that style here. It is an event just for lights. It's been clear from the Casey organization that if we're not able to find a way for them to park as they do normally for their events, we're basically not going to have the event.
Now, when you have something as big as the Life Spectacular, the big weekend, Thanksgiving, you've got, it's Tent City and food trucks, other things going on. There would be no room for anybody to be there anyway. Nobody camps overnight again, right? On site.
No one's camping overnight on site. The tents for market are still up and running. We have security running during overnight. No one's camping during that time.
And the food trucks are there overnight and usually with generators running.
Right, but then nobody is not a campsite. Whereas what we're talking about now for the participants of your show is staying overnight.
They're staying overnight, yes.
One more thing and I'll shut up. It wasn't my idea, but I've been asked and try to give you the flavor of it. We've been infusing a lot of improvements and expenses down there at the fairgrounds. And so it was asked of me why I think I don't know the answer. It has to do with the merchants on the square. But some asked why we don't consider, we will not consider having a chili cook-off at the fairgrounds, where there's lots of room for camping and there's some nice facilities.
Because our event application and permits for the city are basically defined as part of the downtown area, and also for the same reasons, market days and everything else around lights, is targeted folks to be anywhere else other than downtown. Downtowners are focused, especially for supporting merchants and businesses in Canada. So that is the driving force there. And to your question there, having them park the RVs at the fairgrounds and trying to do stuff down here, it's not how they operate. The RVs and tents are always the same area. So it would be from the Casey standpoint, that would not be a viable option. And we're just trying to add the value add more events people will enjoy and want to come down and see. So that's where the chili cook-off is just an event we're trying to sponsor as part of Life Spectacular.
Okay. I'm going to plead guilty to being a lawyer. Somebody said I'm big on. So Ms. I was the last time talking, maybe my numbers are going. I logged it on like 8 to 12 hospital units, somewhere in that range. And that not everybody would be staying overnight with their tent. Not every protector, some would, some would. And you're just saying that's not the way they do it, that they need to be near their setup, but not all
some of them do come in RVs and some are close enough that they don't require needing to bring an RV. They're able to come that morning and bring their stuff. It just depends upon how far that individual person is coming from.
Well, with the school, would let the RVs park, say, over by the baseball field, maybe over by the library or something. That's pretty close.
It's closer, but still trucking and stuff.
Okay. I have ideas, so leave it with the commissioners.
So I guess the first question I have for you, is there an approved permit from the city of Johnson?
Our permit is in the process of being finalized. We were finishing the maps, so it's very close to being finalized. They are okay with the chili cook-off, and we haven't had any issues with them, with any questions regarding the chili cook-off. Our things right now are just the little closures on maps and making sure that we have barricades in the proper places. That's where we stand with the city. And until those finalized maps, when we cannot issue our complete permit, that's the only thing we're waiting on. We've had multiple meetings with the city.
So they have not expressed any concerns to y'all in reference to overnight camping on these trails?
We had a meeting last week and there was no concerns.
So if you was to utilize their parking lot, they wouldn't have an issue with that?
No, sir.
With the city employees?
They didn't say, we did not ask for where the city employees work. We did not ask that.
Right, well, I guess that's my, we're trying to be good neighbors, so there's neighbors that live around here. Obviously, there's bed and breakfast hotels people live in, so that's one of my biggest concerns, do I want to listen to a generator running over? No, I don't. And especially if I just spend however much it costs to rent this house over here, don't want to be kept up by a generator over the night. And I don't think people do, but the city, they have a parking lot where they park their personal vehicles during the day, and there's a resident right beside them. So if they would be okay with that, then it's the same scenario.
Are you talking, is it parking lot that's fenced and it's behind the city office, to the north of the city office?
Either to the north or to the east, either way, but I'm just, that's.
So I've spoken with one resident personally, he's supportive of what's happening for Langston Hamlet overall, and then
Can I ask which direction that resident lives? Is he in one of the adjacent houses?
Yes. And I've spoken to Helmy House, to myself, but through the third party, I mentioned that the person was happy with the overall plan, with what's going on with lights, because it's good for his business, it's good for downtown.
Oh, I agree 100%, and I'm a fan of the chili cook-off. It's just the parking of the RVs, that's a big thing. How can we make all that?
Right. Considering that there's only going to be between 8 and 10 participants that would potentially be bringing an RV, I don't think the generator noise is going to be outstanding. I mean, during lights, during that opening weekend, in the past, we've had 3 huge generators running all night long. And
However, those huge generators run very quietly. A whole lot quieter than a smaller unit that runs an RV.
we did request that they had to be low decimal RVs and that some sort of sound protector around them.
It's been a couple of weeks. Can you remind me the days we're talking about again?
I did mention Cosby Children's Office at 9.
You're talking about
Saturday the 9th.
Okay, so they probably come in on the 8th, maybe leave on the 10th.
Yes, we had considered asking them to leave Saturday evening, but with the amount of crowds, I don't think it would be safe to try to pull an RV out of the crowds for that. I do feel like some of them might leave Saturday as soon as they turn in their,
Especially if you lose.
possibly.
Can I ask you, the total number of entries? You said 8 or 10 RVs, are there another 8 or 10, or I don't know?
The Kasi Chili people think that they will have about 20 to 25 people enter, and then of course we have our local contestants that we're asking to also reject come in.
That includes the RV.
Yes,
Can you say that again? What should we do?
the Kasi Chili people,
Spell it. CASI.
CASI.
his name. Anyways, there should be about 20 to 25 of the Kasi Chili people, and then hopefully local participants.
So you've got a good number that are showing up with their chili without
Half and half.
half. So they're coming to the square where they need to go to be judged. They don't have an argument. So what I'm asking is if they were staying, let's say at Fairgrounds, they would be bringing their chili too, just like the other half of the applicants. And if you had a series of tents or whatever, where they had a presentation area where they could judge their chili and do everything on the square, the only thing missing is the RVs, right? So that's why I really feel it would be better if they brought their chili like, yeah. You had an area there to do the.
It's not just the chili, it's also, they have a component of showmanship, and they have to bring all of their items for this showmanship. So it's not just a matter of bringing your whatever type of Coleman stove and your ingredients, it's your tent, all your decorations, and it's part of their regulations that they have to have a showmanship component to be able to do the chili cook-off.
So the ones that are bringing them, they have their way of doing it.
So Casey also mentioned steps basic additive. The more people you bring in, the more they're going to come. We tried this last year. We had 12 people sign up and 4 showed up. So we're not afterwards, we asked Casey how to make this successful. And they basically said, how to have more people show up and get basically gather momentum, and having the RVs there is the way to make that successful. They basically told us if you don't allow RVs, you're likely not going to have a successful event this year.
Precisely where do you want them to be located?
You can tell us right now. I mean, we're just looking for this area. Say, basically just have them either back in, I guess it would be easier to back in towards the courthouse portion of the parking. Than have, a tent next to each one of the RVs, which is trying to basically park them against the annex.
Plugs, but there's only 2 sets of plugs, right? But those plugs are not.
They are, and do have 250 amp plugs on each one of them, and I was going to offer as a suggestion that it be first come, first served for those 4 plugs that we do have, and then the rest could be generators. So that would, in addition, cut down to the amount of generators.
It's just 4 plugs, there's 2 boxes.
But it's a 50 amp service, so each pedestal is 100 amps, 200 amps of power in total. So most RVs run on a 50 amp, some are 30 amp, but nowadays most of them are 50 amps, so I only have 4 plugs.
And I have a cheap RV. So, so for the benefit that maybe might be listening, to get my question out, those plugs aren't county billed plugs, right? Those are somebody else's responsibility for paying those.
So I guess in concept, but if the RVs were parked against the buildings to the west of the courthouse, peddlers, that whole area, if they were parked there, we had no say so in it. Will the city police make you move, or would that, I guess that's mine.
I asked that question and I was told that they would not be ticketed. We really would like your blessing to have them park and knowing that they're coming and have them park in an organized manner approved by y'all is what we wish for.
And managed by us. Basically, it would be, they're not gonna be there partying all along. It's an event sponsored by us, we put the rules in place, and we'll be making sure that they're following those rules.
Yeah, I guess I want to just comment on that this, all of this is an experiment and new to us, and you and Aaron have been, from my observations, have been great, very police officers. Police are very, another observation is, you're kind of passionate about this and committed to it. I assume y'all had to drive late at night, when you talked here for this.
Yeah, I was actually here yesterday, but this has been a long day trying to catch up on a lot of like things yesterday, yes.
So we appreciate your efforts. But I don't know how the commission feels.
Yeah, and just a reminder, we're a volunteer organization. We're simply trying to make sure that License Guide Tyler is as good and as successful as possible. That's our only interest in that.
Do you have any plans on this south side of the building?
110.
And they're on a timer. Those are on a timer, which can be removed, but not enough to run an RV.
So, I don't know. I'm gonna make a motion to authorize, the alternate, parking for RVs and contestants for the cooking on the north side of the courthouse square. Back up against the courthouse,
Yes, sir.
using the outlets that you always know for everybody that possibly we can use that to reduce the amount of energy. And all of this is contingent on the city of Johnson City approving your permit. Because they're the ones that should take responsibility for their constituents living in the city, whether they say yay or nay to a generator. Or not. But I think out of the whole, I know obviously the fairgrounds is the best location in our perspective. However, I understand what you're doing and I understand what the local business is trying to do. So if that's the plan, to keep them around the square, that's going to be my stipulation.
Before I call for a second, I just want to clarify something in the motion. Do you have any interest in limiting the number, what if they got wildly successful in 30 campers?
So the other concerning question I have is if, let's just say on this coming up weekend, somebody parked there, is who's gonna enforce it anyway? Would the city cops go out there and make a move? So. No, I'm not gonna limit it because I don't know.
Is there a second?
Can I ask another question, Carter?
Give me a second. Is there a second? I'm gonna second it. Okay, discussion.
Just to understand, if they're gonna back an RV, are they gonna have a tent in the next parking space next to them? So each one's gonna take 2 parking spaces. So you can have 10 times 2, you get 20 parking spaces across the if there's only 10 RVs.
Correct.
I mean, that's because slide and new water.
It's,
As far as the parking,
each person's getting 2 parking spots, all from the main parks.
Our second row then would entail the booths that are non-RV. So we would have booths in front of those.
Okay.
I'm gonna speak to Mr. Gooseman's question. A little bit. The area you're talking about putting it on is county property, city property. And so as far as who's gonna enforce the parking, I want to telegraph a little bit for future discussions down the line. They don't necessarily to do with this, but parking is becoming difficult at certain special times around here, especially when somebody likes to park their travel trailer and truck sideways along our curb to go over and have pizza. And they take up every shade space in county. So So the county's thinking about the idea of restricting parking around the courthouse even further. Maybe designating some stuff. We're definitely gonna have to do that with tight parking over here in the new buildings when they're completed, especially when some of the people that are occupying those buildings are emergency personnel. So I just bring that up to say parking is this issue is just gonna, I think, keep coming up. But as far as this motion goes, I think the answer is that it's on him. If somebody parks the wrong way or is in the wrong spot at the wrong time, this event.
Art and I will be working closely with the city, police officers during that time as well. So they're gonna be 100% aware of what's going on. They'll be notified ahead of time, set up. So it's not just Art, and we have worked diligently with the city on this.
And there's been a focus this year on increasing security and officer availability in the area. So for weekends, we're having events on the square. There'll be a roving officer basically downtown watching over things, as well as security outside of the bike. So we're focusing more on safety this year. So we have better plans for barricades and for safety.
Anything else? Any last words?
No, but thank you for your consideration and helping we can get this passed to move forward with this event.
All right. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. My count is 2-3. Commissioners Weir and Eager opposed. So I can get a shot.
Thank you, we do very much so appreciate that, and we can move forward in our planning. My understanding, we have a couple other questions for lights, and we wanted to go ahead and get those out of the way this morning, if we're allowed. Okay, so, and the question has been, that we didn't ask, that was here prior. For the last couple of years, we've had the additional speakers within the courthouse set up in the windows. And we wanted to make sure we could still do that, if we were approved to do that.
Yeah, I didn't think that should be a problem. Y'all have improved it so much so, what's the newest name from Tyrell. And he can do stuff from VR, and it doesn't, there shouldn't have to be as much foot traffic, so, yeah, I think that's fine.
And we have a plan this year to make sure there's an easy plan to apply.
And my personal view is that it's a great to have more speakers because people are on all sides of the courthouse.
Correct. So I just wanted to make sure that we didn't need to go in front of you yet again on that. And then there was a mention of access to the cupola.
They did put that one on here, but since it was that you brought it up, we discourage as much as possible people getting up in the roof of this thing because everybody has been up there. It's, I won't call it dangerous, but it's certainly challenging.
It is challenging.
So we certainly don't want multiple people because we're dealing with weight issues for the time being. But I don't think it's a problem.
It's our only intention to have either myself or Art or Orville, who has been up there numerous times, to go up there. That's the only ones that are allowed to go up there. We're gonna take the liability, and I don't enjoy going up there, but
Smaller is better.
I'll do what I have to, so.
Yeah, that's clearly as well. I don't think it is a problem.
Okay, we just wanted to make sure that we're covering our bases, we don't have to come back. I think the last thing that we'll have to come back for is the final approval of the fireworks, regarding whether it's burning yet or not. So hopefully you won't have to see us anymore.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Item 5, Janelle Haas, School Board.
Good morning. that I've kind of put together. And before anybody says the question, these maps that we've created are not for the public because it's got names and addresses and GPS. TxDOT has to have this information to map it. If there's any historical or cultural or anything like that, that's why it's on there. It's good for our county records. When we end up doing what we'll end up doing with all this is said and done is to a countywide brochure, but it will have the main points of where you can see, like it's a public entity or something like that, or and tells the story of Blanco County, but it won't be directed to people's private properties on here. But as you see the first map, we have, Sherry's here too, so she can chime in, because we've all been involved in this for the county. We started this, the first one is like looking down, if you see the first map, at the city of Blanco, because we're starting on that end because the TxDOT was moving so fast. It's gonna be a whole big county-wide project, but that is Blanco itself, and it's got the little categories, the rock structures, waters, archaeology, biological environment, historic events, multiple use, meaning it's got usually historical in there as well. And so you see the different colors along the way. And it's got some of the streams and the creeks and stuff. The second map is looking down mid-county, and that's mainly what goes to McCall Creek, John Blanco, and then back to Twin Sisters area, Comal County. Again, we started this area moving forward because of TxDOT, we're a timeline for TxDOT, so we're pushing on that. And it's the same thing, it's just a little bit, you can see the creeks a little bit stronger on there, and the springs. And the third one is countywide, and that shows the whole county, what we're gonna be doing with it. And in the back, we have our key, and it lists the addresses, what it is, the categories, the addresses, names. The category is multiple, and it says it could be rock fences, cisterns, creeks, Indian mounds, possible burial ground, native grass development, destroying Indian and Civil War all on this property, this one property area. And it's like that all the way through. And then, so TxDOT has this in physical form. I gave it to them at the last meeting. And we're gonna be sitting digital. We're working on, and then we've got the key, that part of it is, we've already added, we're gonna be adding to the map, it's not on the map, but about 400 more entries. And that's countywide. By the time we're done, what we expect is sure about 1,000 entries, at least on this map. TxDOT is, they're waiting for it in digital form, and we've got our person who's doing it for us, he's gonna start charging us to do this pro bono, thank goodness. And then he can layer it just like this, and we can have it. But I think it's a good county tool too, as development happens and people want to know about their properties and stuff. But we have this, but we don't want it, some of my stuff is on there on my property, I don't want it to go public. But this is what one of the things we've been doing on there for that. Y'all any questions on the maps?
I have a comment.
Okay.
And it's going to not sound good to you.
Okay. I probably heard it, but go ahead.
Because I don't know how to put it in wider terms. More polite terms. You said 1,000 points and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like a goal. And I would just say that this is great, and I don't have, and I applaud you and everyone in here that's involved in preserving historical features of Blanco County. But when you said 1,000, my brain triggered it. But if the goal becomes, let's find every way possible to make it difficult for TxDOT to find a relief route for the city of Blanco, then I'm happy. That shouldn't be the goal.
Right, no, I agree with that. I agree, my goal is to protect what can. And a lot of these are in groups. If you look at it, it'll end up being in group areas. And what TechStot actually told me was they want to see that, where they can actually figure out where to go around those areas and try to not get some of that. And for us at the county level, it's showing us where everything was or is for documentation that we know didn't, I mean, I found things that I had no clue about that happened in Lincoln County.
Yeah, I think that's great. The end result is a line of dots all the way to Henry and all the way to the county line.
Yeah, no, I mean, for at least we could, but there's no way, and I know that, I mean, I'm realistic enough to know that. And I work with TechStot well enough, I mean, you know, we're very open about all of that stuff. Am I passionate about this? Absolutely, and I think our whole commission is, our county commission, they're excited about this, I think, because we're finally being able to tell the Lincoln County story. This is a start for us to tell our story of what's all happened here. So, that's what I wanted to share with you about the map that we're working on. Sure, you have any thoughts on that? We've been.
No, she has no thoughts on it because she gets to talk.
She can bring it up later.
Okay, so this was an information item only. What do you?
No, the next one is, I just want to tell you that, and Sherry and Rhonda actually are working on it. You know, we're designing a coloring book for the county. And it's gonna be each little community in the county, like, Middle Creek, Sandy, Johnson City, Peyton Colony, will submit a photo and tell a little bit about it in a line drawing. And we'll be able to hand it out to the schools and be able to possibly sell them. But it'll tell a story starting for our younger generation, and that's pretty cool, to be honest.
Thought about, another coloring book, chapter 2, where it has, I think it's 13 more polling places back when they voted on a new county seat in the 1880s. And they were odd little locations.
Oh, that's cool. One of the things that was brought to our attention to also document is the dairies that they're not here anymore, but document where they were at one point. Because that was another part of East Blanco County. So things are coming forward. People are coming forward to us with tons of information that it's pretty exciting.
Thank you for taking this on, because I know we grabbed it.
Thomasville is also working on getting our friends at Lincoln County Historical Commission up and going again. There's a lot of people who started coming to meetings who aren't members, but they just want to be involved in that. So he's working on moving that forward. The old Girl Scout camp and at Tejas Trails at 165 is getting their marker. We're really excited about that. And then Johnson City Cemetery, right, for the Johnson City, Pat's working on that for the city. There's one in Johnson City to work. There's two that's coming forward on that. And we're also working with Peyton College to try to help them replace their historical marker for the Lime Hill during that time. They've been working with Lawrence. I attended a training with Texas Historical Commission in San Marcos. And it was a really good informative training. It was CLT, said just a lot of good stuff. And so anyway, we're also working on email and Facebook page for the commission. The other thing, the question we do have is how do we get listed on the county website or something that we're here for the Blanco County Historical Commission and a contact. We've had a lot of people looking. Poor Connie. Okay, just get with her. Okay, all right, okay. All right, sounds good. That's all I have. Y'all have any questions for me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Jenkins. Item 6, that's it. We have
Commissioners.
we have technical, we have show and tell, right?
We have show and tell, but before we do that, I'd like to introduce some people to the court, please. We have with us this morning, we have Jason and Brooke. They're representing Jenkins Design and Build. They're the folks that did the in-kind service for the design for this. And once this is approved, then they'll do the foundation plan and the rest of it. They've also located some folks that might be willing to donate some of the grant that we're going to use in that. So they continue. So I would like for y'all to recognize those folks. We also have from that are on the committee is Mike, and we have Lita, and we have Cheryl, who's our publicity person, and Wendy is here. And I know Russell couldn't make it, and I didn't hear from Clay, so. But thank you for having us. So you got some packages. You also saw that the final, I think in your package, you got the final plan. This was adopted by the committee, and we're putting it forth to you, and we'd like your approval on that plan. But let's go through the show and tell if Connie's ready. What this is just a video that Jenkins made for us so that we could have a visually what it might look like.
Are you Jason and Brooke? Jenkins? Is your last name Jenkins?
No, they're not. Last name is not Jenkins, only mine. This, you'll see the papers that are there, and we call those the butter blocks. The butter blocks are benches that will be sold for sponsorships that have sayings engraved on them from the different war periods, and those will be up. You see the flags. The one on the far left is your POW-MIA, and there's a place marker there as well because the American Legion wants to put in a some kind of statue. And then as it pans around to the front, that is your inside. In other words, you're standing inside the space, and you are seeing the 3-foot white limestone with the looters on top, and it has the American and the Texas flags. You can also see there the dark spots. Those are the granite pieces I was discussing. Those are the ones that will be marked with the 6 services. And there will be a placement beside them where temporary flags can be put in there when there's an event going on. We will not have the permanent flags. You see the white flag poles are noted there, but they are not going to be a permanent fixture there all the time, or the flags will not be there due to the maintenance of that. The leather, the white limestone is a Texas white limestone. It's a creamstone that goes very similar with the, in fact, I have to take a picture today and send it to the quarry. So we make sure we do the random cut and we place it like it is here on the courthouse or in the annex. It says honor and remember. They're a black polymer type back material in that respect sheet. You get a better look there. All of those on the ground are pavers. The pavers will be offered, and in your package you saw that. That's our first draft. The pavers will be offered to the public to honor their veteran, to do it for themselves, or maybe there's someone that they want to honor by putting a paver there. So those are going to be offered starting right after the 1st of October. We'll have that in place. And that form will also be on our website, which we will need to get connected with Connie. And
I have a lot of faith in me, don't you?
I sure do. We call that the pathway of heroes, and we do that because without those people's sacrifices, I tell you every time I visit with you, we wouldn't be here doing what we're doing today. And so it's a really near and dear to my heart, as y'all all know. These pavers, as we've stated before, will not be concreted. There will be a concrete foundation where that 3.5 foot wall is. That's a must for the stability of the limestone. And But that's what, the only place that there is concrete to be poured. The rest of it is placed in with a sand type product that it's like a concrete. So in other words, what happens is in the future, if we were to have another paver type, we could pop those out and put new ones in. Yes, sir.
So right now, we are walking down the sidewalk.
We're going east. Yes, sir.
East toward the parking lot.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Really to the right, it didn't show in that, is where the bin will be for people to drive up and drop their flags in. It didn't really show it there, but on the driveway is where that will be.
Is all of that for these schools?
Yeah, you didn't know Johnson City doesn't look like that, Jason, just saying. But that gives you a pan vision of just what it could look like. Of course, we don't have all of those trees, and whatever. And the trees, as many of you have noticed, has been being trimmed, and the ones that were approved are being taken out. We have a little more work on that, to complete that process. This pans around, bringing you back around to Nugent and to the corner of Bluebonnet and Nugent where you would enter this in for the public. And you'll see the letters say Blanco County Veterans Memorial. And it's our way of honoring them. There will be, you can see it right there to the left. There is the pit that we talked about. It's a white limestone facade on the outside. It has a container on the inside with a lid, and that's where the flags will be given in memorials services of such, and it will be locked, so it's not usable for a trash bin or anybody else doing anything in it. So, and it could change. It could go on the right side. We have talked about this because we have to wait until the trees are finished, so we know exactly how the flag can be placed, the DOW flag. So that's really the only offering that we change that we don't have. So, before I go on, is there questions, Judge, Commissioners?
Not a question, I want to make a change in personnel. I want to make Commissioner Eager, who's taking over sort of the oversight of the maintenance department. He will be your contact on maintenance.
Okay. So I'll include you in the emails and the meetings, right? I got you.
And then, of course, that's actually part of precinct 3.
I can add Mr. Reese on that with no problem. As he rolls his eyes. So Russell will be coming off, and I'm to add, okay. I can do that. Just making sure I follow the correct rules.
You all plan on planting trees in the locations that you show?
No, sir, not really. We have a lot of good tree cover. The only thing, and it is a zero-escape plan. Low maintenance because it will be county maintained. We have trash cans on them. We talked about the trash cans. I was a little concerned, but we felt like we needed the trash cans in that area because we want people to be able to come there and to sit there if they sponsor their break or where they can come and enjoy their time there. Of course, the county has that beautiful tree back there and it's all been trimmed up and now you can get underneath it and go to the picnic table. So I think it's going to make a very refreshing and pleasant place for people to come to remember what America's all about.
And anybody, I can put my grandfather.
Yes, sir.
Martin from Blanco County.
Yes, sir. This is Blanco County honoring veterans. And we're honoring those people that made that sacrifice. We didn't say and would not say that it is strictly Ricon County. That is not the representation we choose to make. Other questions?
I'm sorry, I might have missed it though, are you gonna get information for the website for people to sign up for donations?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's in the process. And let's go back and revisit the fact is that I'm also the regent for the Daughters of American Revolution, the Hill Country chapter here in Blanco County. We are the sponsoring 501(c) that receives those donations and manages it financially because we're the 501(c). And we have set up our separate bank account at Texas Regional. Don Capra is our treasurer, so those things can be processed and can be audited should the county want to come back and look at something or anyone else at what has been used and done and facilitated. So what we've done, and we've set that up, we've been working with them, and the only way we found out so far is that we can to have a button on there if you want to go in and you want to donate money today to it, we're going to have to do it through PayPal. So that's in the process of, we've made application as a 501(c) to do that, but that'll all be on there. And Cheryl is our person who is working on that. And if you have, I encourage people, if you have a picture of a veteran you want to honor, send it to Cheryl with their name and their service, and we have kind of an album that's being started where people can click on it and see our veterans. So, but you got a copy, I believe, in your packet of the application for this is what you got. And it explains, and these are laser driven, and they give a lifetime guarantee on these. So we have to order these ahead of time for the implementation. That's why we have a start and cutoff date. Start is October 11th, we're gonna cut off April 1st. So to be able to get those in and get them installed. The other thing is that we are still excited, you gave permission for Brown Street to have their car show like the first weekend, the 4th, I believe it is. And so they have chosen the Blanco County Veterans Memorial as their organization to receive those funds. So we appreciate that. And there is a guitar. Texan is speaking.
Okay, it's in the paper.
And the raffle that they're doing these funds, and Cheryl will have those tickets, so we encourage you. It's a way to participate. You have these rack cards that'll be going out in the county to different businesses. So I guess the question is, are you ready to take a vote, Judge?
What are we voting on?
Your vote for us to complete this now is we need the county's authority that you have agreed with your committee.
Design concept, approve the design concept?
Yes, sir, so we can proceed with our bidding and construction.
Basically, what we would be doing is committing to provide the property.
That's right.
All right.
Yeah, you've committed the property already, but this is what would go on the property.
Approved.
Yes.
All right.
So I do have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
The culvert that goes under Blue Bonnet Street, my memory serves me right, it's a steep drop into that culvert. We're gonna do some sort of cover over that where people aren't falling off in there, or?
I guess I don't know exactly where.
So let's just confirm that the culvert going under Blue Bonnet, let's just make sure that that's not a trip hazard or a fall hazard.
I totally agree. I'll go back and look at it because I guess I had not, I probably would have already noted that. And you're saying where it goes from the corner of that lot across toward Town Creek?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll look at that. Yes, sir.
Motions.
So with that being said, I'll make a motion to approve the design plans as presented.
Is there a second? Mr. Eager, discussion. My only comment on two things. One, I think the concept was great. I think you've done a great job, and I confess to having reservations or doubts I should have done. It's totally great. And the second is, I hope we find something better than the $550 stone Joe Garcia, because he deserves more than that. So, anyway. Okay, anything else? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. We appreciate it. We'll see you in a few months, maybe.
Thank you. Item 7, appraisal district occupation of a part of the South Annex. So, Ms. Fry's coming forward. Ms. Fry and Commissioner Weir and I met at the South Annex last week. And we're excited to say,
Yeah, and it's nice to meet John, it was great down there, so, I think it'll work really well, and what our plan is to conduct a working week, and maybe like on Wednesdays, be able to take tax payments there, and answer general questions, you know, think about exemption applications, accept applications. As far as the mapping services, they would probably be a little bit limited, but other than that, I think we can pretty much do everything that we do up here down there. You know, we have a beacon network, we will be able to beacon right into our appraisal and collection system and be able to help out people on the south end that may not make that drive. So, it looks great.
so conceptually, what I'm asking of the court is to authorize once the legal is approved, that we need to prepare, authorize engaging in an interlocal with the appraisal district for their use of the office space. And in times past, I maybe was on the other side of this, but I really am not interested in charging a rent. I think it's a great public service for the South County, and I think that since we already are a contributor to the appraisal district as one of the governmental entities that uses them, that if we were charging, it would be us paying ourselves, or vice versa. So that would be what I hope we will agree to, is that it would be a rent-free, but otherwise, contractual relationship, so that they can occupy one office and something. Anyone on that?
I'd like to move that we approve for the Blanco County Appraisal District to occupy an office in South Annex, and authorize Judge Brett to sign an interlocal agreement for such pending county attorney.
Is there a second? Mr. Ryan, discussion. Well, I don't think we can say enough about Ms. Ryan on so many fronts that we don't have time to even say it all. She's a magnificent partner with Blanco County. And that I guess that's the one thing that I have said sometimes that I want to try to emphasize, is to make sure that people understand, because we get confused with the appraisal district, or the appraisal district is confused with us all the time, because Blanco County is the month of our name. But we want to make it clear that it's a partnership or a relationship, that you're the appraisal district, and we're not.
I appreciate that, y'all, and great work with this place.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you. Item 8. This compensation questionnaire, the authorization to complete.
I'll make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign a workers' compensation renewal questionnaire with the Texas Association of Counties.
Is there a second? Second. Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, interlocal for mental health psychoactive hearings with Kirk.
I'd like to move to authorize the county judge to sign an interlocal agreement for mental health and psychoactive medication under the crisis stabilization.
Is there a second? Mr. Ryder, discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, follow that appropriate task force authority, agreement, interlocal, that actually has the sheriff's signature on this one.
I'll make a motion to approve for the county to enter into a cooperative working agreement with Automobile Burglary and Theft Prevention Authority for the Sheriff's Combined Auto Task Force FY 2021 grant renewal. Signed by the sheriff.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Eager, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11. Renewal of the ESD agreement to enforce our fire code. Technically, this was conceptually when we started out, it was Matt May, but it's turned into Matt May and his team that goes out and does fire code inspections for us. And this agreement is what authorizes the ESD trade personnel to do that for us.
I'll make a motion to authorize the county judge to sign the renewal agreement between Blanco County and Blanco County ESD number 2 to provide personnel to enforce the Blanco County Fire Code.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Brown, discussion. Did you need to say anything on this subject? Chair of ESD 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 13. Did I miss, skip one? 12. Proclamation for night skies. Anyone?
I'll make a motion to approve the proclamation declaring October 2023 as Hill Country Night Sky Month in Blanco County.
Commissioner Weir seconds.
I will.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now moving to item 13.
All right, good morning, Judge, good morning, Commissioners. My pleasure to be able to introduce Carly Howell, who is our, like presented as our county extension agent for Blanco County. We stole her from our sister organization from Prairie View, where she's been working as an extension educator in Harris County, and has greatly appreciated getting to explore Blanco County, and the traffic situation here is much more favorable. She's done a very good job of bringing much needed education and agricultural literacy to folks that desperately need it. When she comes in, with the start date of November 1, we will also have her work and collaborate with Grand Raider and Ben McMahon, extension agents in Gillespie County, who will also serve as her mentors to get her acclimatized to how we do things in this district and how to best serve Blanco County.
Hi, thanks for welcoming in with open arms. I'm Carly Howell, Blanco officer. But just a little bit about myself and my background. I am from Orange, Texas. I did grow up in a rural county, so I don't want y'all to get me as just a Houstonite. But I did go to Sam Houston State University, where I did my undergrad and my master's. My undergrad was in animal science and equine science, and then I just graduated last December with a sustainable agriculture master's degree. I do have a strong background in veterinary medicine as well. I was a vet tech for 5 years at various local vet hospitals, including large animal as well, so I do have that background. And I do currently work for Prairie View, as Michael mentioned, and I do work very closely with 4-H, and I'm excited to kind of, up the 4-H enrollment in this area and get the kids excited for what 4-H has to offer, and as well as address any other issues such as like land fragmentation, wildlife, and anything else that needs to be addressed.
So as of a couple of weeks ago, Harley and her husband were still looking to find a place to live in Blanco County. Any success yet?
We are house shopping today, so I'm very excited about that. We have a couple narrowed down, but we are still trying to sell our house. So, pending all goes well with that, I'll be here November 1st. And anything else with you guys.
So if anyone knows of anything that's available, feel free to share it with Carla because we want her to reside in Lincoln County to possibly accomplish that.
Yes, thank you.
And other than that, you want to tell them you're not as young as you look?
I'll make my age a secret, but I am, like you mentioned, I do have a husband with me today. I am old enough to be married, I am old enough to have a master's, and I am old enough to be married right here, so.
Questions? Comments?
Just want to welcome you to the county.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.
Look forward to working.
I look forward to it as well, thank you.
Thank you. I think we're up to item 14 on an advertisement to bid for concrete.
Yes, sir, so there's some items in our budget for next year, so I'd like to make a motion to authorize to advertise for bid for concrete work in precinct 3 and emergency management.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. I'm gonna say why, just because.
I just asked that, but I'm not speaking out. So,
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion carries. Item 15.
So in this one here, I printed out a packet, and I gave it to all y'all. So this is a little RV park that they're proposing on the Blanco Gillespie County line, looking for a few variances. What it has is there's going to be, in your packet, you'll see there's a total of 5. What we're going to classify as an RV, or a tiny home, I think we would say. They're going to have the kitchenettes, and they're going to have restrooms, and they're going to have things of that nature. So more of a tiny home as opposed to an RV. So in the packet, we're requesting variances on 4A.2, 4A.5, 4B, and 4C. So 4A.2 is parking facilities shall be provided for the park office and shall accommodate a minimum of 5 recreational vehicles. These are going to be tiny homes, so there's not going to be any in and out traffic with RVs. 4A.5 is going to be each park shall provide recreational vehicles parking space. 20% of the parking space, 18 feet by 50 feet. Again, these are going to be tiny homes. They're going to be stationed in there as a signed, sealed, and delivered location. 4B is service buildings with laundry and sanitation facilities. These all have units totally enclosed within their buildings, so they will not require or need an additional laundry and restroom facilities. And then 4C is the service buildings for manning in and out traffic as far as RVs. None of this is going to happen. Like I said, there's going to be 5 tiny homes situated on a tract of land that talk with them. We're going to have a 24-foot wide base material in and out of there to provide for public safety. They'll be meeting the rules and regulations on the addressing points, so things of that nature. So this is a request to make a variance on those 4 items. So I'll make that into my motion to approve the variance in the department on the RV regulations of 4A.2, 4A.5, 4B, and 4C for this park for Hunter.
Is there a second? Commissioner Wilson, discussion. Woke up this morning thinking of a question to ask you on this. It's not about the 4 variances, as I was supporting those for the reasons stated. But you and I had an offline discussion about the road and you I think adhere to county specs.
Adhere to the RV regulations where it calls for a hard surface, doing an 8-inch compacted base, 24-foot wide.
Right. Not paved. paying.
not paying.
And what I wanted to ask is, what if it gets wildly successful and instead of 5 more units out there, because this is out in like the west central, northwest-ish county, Lincoln County.
Correct.
What if it gets wildly successful, it goes from 5 to 50?
So I don't think that there's sufficient property there to accommodate 50. We don't have enough land for that.
We're not worried about expansion
No, sir.
to a point where it's more like a subdivision.
Correct, that's right.
Okay.
If we get into a situation where we do this again, but there is enough property, and then all of a sudden we're wildly expanding because of this situation
So-
right here we put ourselves into.
I think that this variance is based on this plat that's been provided here. Any additions to this plat, any increase in this location, then they would have to come back to court. I mean, as of any other RV park.
You and I see this as a one-off.
Correct.
Each one stands independently. Each situation has to be examined independently. That's what a variance is about. Anything else?
And I'm worried that we could be, I'm not saying we are, I just worry that we could be on something that was kind of in tendency with us at this particular point.
I believe in the regulations, it's about to be brought to court. That is addressed in there, that if any expansion on RV park or tiny home park, will come back before the court for approval. I believe that's in there somewhere.
It's on your mind, she's not figured it out.
Oh, okay. I believe the regulations that are coming out, I don't see anything wrong with this right here right now, but the new regulations that have not been passed yet, we cover that where they have to come back to if they expand, any expansion.
Other discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Commissioner Riley, no. Item 16, land division.
So this is a tract of land out on 1323 that is 100 and something acres. So it meets all the requirements. This is for an affidavit for a section of the division. So I make a motion to approve the parcel of land division off of FM 1323.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Eagle, discussion. I haven't studied this close enough. What's the point of this?
So the property owner owns, the tract B2 is 92.25 and tract B1 is 21.58. Both sides of 1323 at the county line. So they just trying to sell off a piece of their property.
On one side of the road?
Both, they're selling tract B, I believe. I think they're only keeping the 25 acres.
Okay.
So if anybody buys it and then wants to subdivide it further, then they're gonna have to come back to the court.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The burn ban continues to be in effect, so we do not put it on here today. Item 17.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Third.
Mr. Riley, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.